Hello again, YouTubers and Cardfight fans! 24/7 here again for Cardfight 24/7 with a Cardfight Vanguard Trent Report video brought to you by CardfightCapital.com, your top source for everything Vanguard. Again, our current target for launching that is Friday, so stay tuned for that. For the Trent Report, this is our team regional that we went to on Sunday, June 9th in Lindenhurst, Illinois. There were 23 teams there altogether. That's 69 Cardfight participants. If you're not familiar with team tournaments, you have a three-member team, and each person has to have a different mono clan deck. The only exception is basically MLB. You can run Royal Paladins with up to 10 Shadow Paladins, and then somebody else in the team can still run Shadows. But you can't have someone run any other dual clan decks or have any overlaps besides that. To qualify, we took first place at a different qualifier in Illinois, which I think I did a Trent Report for about a month ago. But anyways, so it's best of one, double elimination. So once your team loses 2 rounds, you're eliminated. And the setup here was, it was team on team from the start. The first qualifier I went to, it was different, where we had we broke up into individuals. Like there was a pod A, B, and C for each member of the team. So you'd fight individually against all different teams, but that's a whole other story. But anyway, so it was team versus team basically. Round 1, we faced a team from here farther away from Indiana. One of the guys on that team knew who I was from my YouTube and stuff, and he's already commented on another video stating that. But anyway, so we faced them off against them first round. My team, again, I'm Ryan Zeal, did the deck profile for that yesterday. And my teammates were Ryan Dote and Narukami. In round 1, the Narukami member of my team faced a Dote. From what I was told from my teammates in that, the Narukami player on my team should have won, but late game he guarded where the Dote player needed 2 to pass, even though he had enough to guard and likely would have won the next turn, sounded like. The Dope player got the double trigger to get the win, so that was 0-1 for the team. The Dope player got grade locked at 0 against Spike Brothers. I think he ended up pushing the Spike Brothers player to 4 damage, but he tried to make a comeback the best you possibly can, basically, while being grade locked to 0, but couldn't get there, so the team started 0-2. My match started later than all theirs because, well, first, we had all set up and everything, but then they told us to reshuffle because they didn't want us to actually set up yet, even though we didn't actually start the game. So I did that. So I basically got a second opening hand, and in my opening hand for the second attempt, I had my grade 1 and grade 2 Zeal, and was mulliganing 3. And then while shuffling, I noticed my opponent had a sleeve that had some bad creases and stuff in, and so figured better to have that brought up before the match starts than in the middle of it, as I figured that he might get a game loss or something like that if it happened later or something, and since I saw it, I figured I'd better bring it to his attention. I told the judge it's fine with me if they just if the judge switched the card in that sleeve with another card, just so we both know that my opponent doesn't know what's in that quote-unquote mark sleeve. But they said he needed to re-sleeve them all, and then we had to reset our hands again. So I had to shuffle away my grade 1 and grade 2 Zeal and reset again. And then when the game actually happened, my opponent, by the way, was running the Royal Paladin Galahad Ride Chain. He, in his opening hand then, the final opening hand, he ended up with all 3 parts of his Ride Chain, he said. And I missed my grade 2. I had a grade 3 Zeal in my hand. And then when I rolled my grade 1 Zeal, the grade 2 was not in the top 7, but there was another grade 3, so I took that because might as well take a card if it's there, and you're allowed to. And I drew, once I did get to my grade 3, I think my first twin drive was 2 grade 3s. And at that point, I had drawn into a total of 5 grade 3s. So my blocking was very limited. So missing the grade 2 of the Ride Chain and having very limited blockers with all those grade 3s stuck in my hand, I could not do enough for blocking early enough. So I was not able to last long enough that game. So round 1, my team went a combined 0-3. So not a great start to the day by any means. Round number 2, the other team from my area that I actually carpooled down there with as well, they started 0-1 as well. And then round 2, we played each other. So the winner moves on in that match, and the loser is done and just has to cheer on the other team that they lose to, basically. So in that match, I, with my Zeal, faced an MLB deck. The Dote player faced Soulless OTT, and Narukami, he got stuck facing Dote once again. Our Narukami player got grade locked and lost to Dote. Our Dote player, I think the Soulless player against him got grade locked, and Dote won. And I think I was the last one to finish, so I knew it was on me to win, to have our day continue. Against MLB, like I typically always do, when he attacked with Wingle Brave boosting a blaster, I try to guard with no pass every time, because just in my experience, I seem to win a very high percentage against MLB when I do that. And when I let the Wingle Brave effect go off, my chances seem to be a lot less impressive. So I did that, and I also hit 2 draw triggers for the end of the game to get some hand advantage in that, and pretty much cruised basically in that one. Didn't seem too terribly close. I could be mistaken. I don't know what was in his hand at all times, but got the victory. So our team won 2-1, eliminating the other local team. And so they were done for the day after 2 rounds, and we moved on to round 3. In round 3, we faced, I think, the only other team there from Wisconsin that were from Milwaukee. They're the ones that took, well, the other local team and the Milwaukee team are the teams that took top 2 at the Green Bay team qualifier that I did a Trent Report for a while ago. And my team took 3rd/4th in that one. And then I got a different team and qualified in Illinois. But anyways, round 3, we faced the team from Milwaukee. The Narukami player faced Dote for the 3rd round in a row. I believe he said the Dote player got grade locked, I think, at 2. And I believe the Narukami player was able to retire their Conroe using Death Scythe. Dragatic Death Scythe. So between the grade lock and losing Conroe, the Narukami player sounded like he cruised in that one. The Dote player faced off against Skull Paladin. I don't really know any details about that one. I'm always focused on my match and didn't really hear much details about that, but I know the Dote player won that, so my match didn't really matter. I faced Royal Paladins, which I know it had Snowglow in there. I'm pretty sure it had MLB, because he had Blaster Dark. That was his grade 2 ride. And some people were watching the match, and I talked to them afterwards, because they were kind of watching the game closely. When my opponent attacked with Blaster Dark with Wingle Brave boosting, my only cards in hand were grade 2s and 3s. They went first, so I had a grade 1 Vanguard, so I couldn't block with any grade 2s. I don't think I had any grade 0s, so my only way to block it was using a perfect guard, which I did because, as I said for the previous round, anytime Wingle Brave is boosting a blaster, I try to make sure it can't hit and they don't get the effect off. So my opponent seemed surprised that I used the perfect guard. The people spectating afterwards said, like in their heads, they were like, yeah, you gotta do that, you gotta do that. So they were happy that I did that because they felt that was the best thing to do. And it proved to be the best thing, as I did go on to win, although it did require some luck, I guess you could say. What ended up being my final turn, I don't remember what the setup was, but I attacked with this row, not this row yet, I was attacking with the Vanguard. My opponent did 2 to pass, they were at 5 damage, and they had like 6 cards in hand. So my first trigger check was a draw trigger. I immediately put the 5,000 on the Vanguard, because knowing they have 6 cards in hand, I figured if I get double triggered and put it all on here, they're going to block it anyway, so might as well hope for the best with that. So put the 5,000 there, draw an extra card, next trigger check, another draw trigger, 5,000 on Vanguard, 6 damage, game over. So we win that round 3-0. So round 1, 0-3, round 2, 2-1, round 3, 3-0. So we're getting better and better here. Things are clicking. And at this point, like I said, we started with 23 teams. After the second round, we were down to 18 teams. After the third round, we were down to 12 teams. So moving into round 4 with those 12 teams left. And in round 4, our Narukami player faced MLB. Our Dote player, I don't remember what deck he faced. Oh, I think he faced an OTT deck again. And I faced a Neo Nectar deck, which ran the starting Vanguard was the Seed Squire or whatever. The ones that can like go away, call up the higher grade to the field, tap, stuff like that. Also ran Arboros Dragon and Main of the Trillion Rose. I think that's the name. But wasn't the Arboros Dragon ride chain, so it was a different kind of build, more unique in that. And he said at that point he was 3-0 himself. The OTT guy was 0-3, and the MLB guy was 2-1. The Narukami player, I think he said he just had bad draws. He didn't have enough shields and stuff like that, so he did not manage a victory on his end. The Dote player, don't really know the details of that one, but I know he won. So my teammates split, so that was the last one done. They're all kind of watching, seeing what happens on mine as it all comes down to my game. Late game, on their turn, their whole front row, I think, at this point, were the 11k Trailing Roses. And a couple points, I had like a twin order up here with no boost that couldn't hit anybody and stuff like that, so I was having trouble getting a full field. And also in that game, I never got the grade 3 Zeal. I had to ride Miracle Beauty. I did not miss a ride, but Miracle Beauty as my Vanguard, obviously not as great as having Zeal. I did not get Zeal until my final turn, what ended up being my final turn. With my twin drive, I got a draw trigger, and with the draw trigger, I got the Zeal. So I got it in my hand on my final turn, but did not get another turn to actually play it. What ended up being my opponent's winning turn. I had enough shields. I think I would have needed 10,000 shield to block each or something like that. So I had to block their Vanguard for where if they get one trigger it hits. I could have blocked them to require them to get 2 triggers, but if they put the trigger anywhere else, I can't block everything anyway, so set out for the best. Their very first trigger check was a heal trigger, which makes it hit. And as you know if you watched my deck profile video, I was not running any heals, but I know the 6 damage I took in both of the games I lost were not criticals, which I basically put in place of the heals. So if you look at it that way, it didn't cost me any games by not having those heals. Well, you could say I may have reduced the damage at one point, but that's how it went. So we were eliminated in round 4. So we basically tied for like 9th place out of 23 teams, something like that. But 2-2, not too bad of a showing. Upper half of all the teams that were there, and being the regional where you had to be top 2 to qualify, I think that's pretty good to be top half of the top 2s, if you want to say. But so we did not get an invite to the Nationals, or whatever you want to call it, Continental Championship in LA. For everyone that is going, I wish you all the best of luck. Hopefully it's a good day for all of you, like the Stand-Up Cup looked like it was. Hopefully next time we have a tournament circuit, we can get a little bit further and I can make my way to a Continental Championship of some sort. But had a good time. Didn't get home until 11:30 p.m. that night. It was about a 3-hour drive each way from my house. The tournament ran kind of slow too. I don't know why, but they had 40-minute time limits, which seemed pretty excessive. And then however much time it took to get things set up and going, especially with various hiccups like my first round opponent having decks, having to re-sleeve their deck and stuff like that, which just makes things take longer than that. But online it said it started at 3 o'clock. Once we got there, we found out registration starts at 3 and the tournament starts at 4. I think we actually started like 4:15 or 4:30. We left at like 7:45 p.m. or something like that when we were done and eliminated after round 4. And to have gotten top 2, I think we would have had to play at least 3, maybe 4 more games. So had we won, we probably wouldn't have left there until like 10:30, 11 o'clock, unless I wouldn't have gotten home until like 2 a.m., which would have been a very fun 3-hour drive that late at night. But for better or for worse, didn't come to that. Probably had to get gotten a hotel or something if it did get that late. But that's how things went. So nothing else really to say, I guess. Subscribe, thumbs up, check out cardfightcapital.com. Hopefully we'll have that fully launched on Friday with at least the e-commerce up and running by then, if not sooner, and then launch other parts ASAP afterwards, like the forums, the blogs, the card of the day. But we have to get the e-commerce up ASAP because we need to start making some revenue so we can afford to get a healthy stock of BT09, start pre-selling that and stuff like that as well. So yeah, that's enough of that. The link for that and our Twitter and our Facebook and all that is below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next video.